context of when this happens?
Well, I think it was more so that he was angry with Jimmy. I mean, him and Jimmy argued. Everybody argued with Jimmy at one point in time. So, I don't know. For me to sit here and say literally he's going to go over there and kill him, he did say those words, "I'll kill the MF," more than once, on more than one occasion.
Okay.
And yes, he was talking about Jimmy.
And none of those occasions did he then walk back across the street and shoot Jimmy or anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
Do you remember the 4th of July in 2020?
Yes.
What were you doing that evening?
We were just sitting out on the deck at my house, celebrating the 4th of July with another couple that are friends of ours for many, many years. And we were just sitting there enjoying the evening, having a few drinks with our friends. He had a new side-by-side we were checking out, and then we all kind of came back and was just sitting there, and then Melody shows up and wants to know if she could buy some gasoline. Well, I've given Michael gasoline before. I went and got his vehicle, whatever he needed. I was just pretty much helping the guy out. Per Jimmy, my friend of over 42 years was telling me that this guy just needs a break in life, needs a job, needs to get some income, and all that. So that's all I was trying to do is provide. I was always there to help. I don't have bad bone in my blood. But, if somebody comes to ask me to help them, I'm going to help them. And that's exactly how I treated Michael, even though I didn't know him that well.
Okay. So this evening when Melody comes down asking for gasoline, do you notice anything about her? Well, can you tell us what she's wearing?
Yeah, she was wearing like a white, you would call it a summer gown maybe, a light dress, and it appeared to have bloodstain on the right shoulder.
Okay.
A pretty, not a whole lot, but like a circle. I seen it, didn't think anything of it until the other people in my party was pointing it out, and that's when I said, well, possibly, but.
So you noticed it before, and then it wasn't until Melody left that you guys started saying that was blood on her dress.
That's correct. After she asked me to buy some gas, I said, sorry, honey, I didn't have any gas. Usually I have some in the back of my truck. But at that particular time, I didn't have any. So and she turned around and walked away.
So when she walks down the road and encounters you and your wife at your home, and then you have guests over, in front of your guests, you didn't point out to Melody, you said, Melody, you've got blood on your dress.
No, I really didn't know her that well. And, it just wasn't the focus at the moment until the lady said something about it, and then I kind of agreed with them. But yes, sure looked like blood to me.
I'd like to focus on the time between the 4th of July and July 26th of 2020. Did you interact with Michael Dixon in that 22 or so day time frame?
Yes, probably maybe 3 or 4 times, but interact with him and just speaking, driving down the road. I seen him walking, me and my wife did. It was kind of hot, and I said, just take me home, and my wife wanted to go help him out, so that's what she did. Another time I seen him in the driveway late at night. I pulled my quad runner up. Lights were in both their eyes, him and Melody. They were kind of moving around kind of suspiciously. I asked where my log splitter was. He said it wasn't there, but he would get it. I said, is Jim in the house? He said no.
All right, well, I want to break that down a little bit. So
okay.
First of all, you identified maybe an inarticulate question of mine when I said interact. So
okay.
Yeah, let's focus on the times that you talked to him. All right,
okay.
So You said you spoke to him during that time period several times, and by him I mean Michael Dixon?
I would say 3 at the most that I actually spoke words to him. Now, yeah, other several occasions he was just going up the road, flying up the road.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. And that occasion that you came up on him in the quad runner and you said suspiciously doing something. Well, let's understand that. What do you mean by suspiciously doing something?
Well, first of all, Mike got out of the car kind of slow, and it looked like they had something in the back of the Volkswagen. Melody quickly seen who I was when I started to speak and walked toward the house. And then again, I asked the questions that I said, where's my log splitter? He's supposed to, I gave him money for a log splitter, never got it.
Okay.
And at the end of that, same thing. Where's Jim? Is Jim in the house? No.
Okay. So, just to set the scene.
And then right after that, let me add this. Right after that, you seen his car flying up the road.
Okay. And his car is in the Volkswagen?
Yes, the blue Volkswagen, correct.
All right, so I understand. Let's set the scene a little bit here. So this is in the evening, as you said, You're on your quad runner. And Michael and Melody are rooting around in the Volkswagen.
We have the Volkswagen backed in to the driveway. Yes.
And this is on James Whitaker's property.
That's correct.
Okay. And they were getting some things out of the car, or putting some things in the car in the middle of the night?
Pretty sure they were putting things in the car.
And then when you came up, Melody identified that it was you and walked away?
Yeah, she didn't say anything to me.
And it's at that time that you asked if James Whitaker was around, and Michael responded with, no, he's not in the house?
Correct.
Were there any other occasions during that time frame that you asked Michael Dixon if James Whitaker was around? Or where was Jim?
Yes, a couple times. I asked him if he was around. I had a friend of mine working on my truck, so yes.
Did he ever tell you that Jimmy tried to attack him and he shot and killed him to defend himself?
No.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Cross-examination.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jester.
Afternoon.
How long did you know Mr. Whitaker?
Like I said, since I'll say 74.
So we're talking about 45 years, a little more?
Yeah, well, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
And you said you grew up hunting together?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you known him to be a hunter?
Oh my. Since he was probably 14 years old.
Okay. So the same 40, 45 years?
Yep.
All right. And you used to hunt with him?
Yes, sir.
Is he a good shot?
Yep.
Yeah. Knew how to use firearms pretty well?
Do I?
Did he?
Yes.
Okay. You hunted with him on many occasions, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you've personally seen him shoot the firearms and things of that nature?
Yeah.
Now, you were asked about some of the times when Mr. Dixon would come to your house seemingly upset with Jimmy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you said that there was a couple times he said, I'm going to kill the motherfucker, I'm going to kill the son of a bitch, things like that, but you didn't take him seriously, right?
I really didn't know how to take him, but I just told him there's no need for that.
Okay. And then you said he would come to your house and then he would sort of calm down after that and go back?
Yeah, I mean, he'd come over and borrow a tool, a lot of stuff. He changed, he did some tree cutting for me in the house. But, Michael was just never wanted to speak very much, that's all. That's all I really knew.
And what was the last thing you said, I'm sorry?
He didn't speak very much.
Okay. So you also said when asked about that you figured it was pretty much just Mr. Dixon having arguments with Jimmy. Is that right?
Yes.
And you said everybody from time to time had arguments with Jimmy.
Yes.
Why would you say that?
Well, Jimmy was, he had a kind of rough upbringing, and he had to pretty much fight for everything he had.
Okay. Do you ever see him get into fights?
Jimmy? No.
No. Okay.
No. He couldn't whip the wind, in my opinion.
Did you know him to have guns in his house?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know for him to have guns just sort of laying around?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Do you know him to have guns near his chair that he used to sit in?
No. All of his guns were kept in his bedroom.
All of his guns kept?
All of them. Now, a shotgun maybe.
Oh.
Might be by the front door.
Okay. So when you say all his guns, you don't mean literally all of his guns, right?
Okay. No.
Okay.
But most of his collection was kept in his room.
Okay. I want to focus on the ones that weren't in his room, though. So you said
Yeah.
he had...
Well, he didn't have any.
Pardon me?
No, they were all gone. By the time of his death, he had nothing.
Okay. But
He
you
sold
said
them all.
that he would oftentimes have a gun right by the door, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't say what kind of gun. I just said a gun.
Well, you said a shotgun, right? That's what you
No.
said.
No, I didn't say that. He only had one shotgun at the time of his death.
And you know-
One.
you
And
know
it
this
wasn't
for-
even his.
You know this for a fact, sir?
Yeah, I know it for a fact 'cause I know where the gun came from.
Okay. Now, when you saw Melody, you said that you saw a stain on her dress, right?
Yep.
And initially, you didn't think anything of it, right?
Not really. It just looked like a spot to me.
Okay. So to you, it didn't seem that unusual till everyone else started saying something else, right?
That's correct. The ladies, yep.
And on that night, you didn't call law enforcement or anything of that nature, right?
No.
You weren't concerned enough about that spot to call anybody, right?
No.
Okay. And I know this is fairly obvious, but you weren't there when Mr. Whitaker died, correct? You weren't where he was?
No. Didn't know nothing about it.
Don't know anything about it, right?
No, people shoot guns. Rental cabins we have around, they come down here and shoot guns all the time. So I was telling the sheriffs when I first gave them my report, I mean, you know what I mean? There's so many people shooting guns. Even that night was 4th of July, so you can imagine how many people shoot guns on 4th of July.
So you don't even personally know anything about the time he died, right? You don't know anything about the incident where he died?
No.
Nothing further. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Redirect.
No, sir, thank you.
You may stand down. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Your Honor, may we all approach very
Yes.
briefly?
Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to provide in this cause is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth, so help you God. Yes, sir. All right, thank you. Come around and have a seat there in the little box. Pull the microphone in front of you. And there's folks who are with the press who are watching the feed on this, and they may want to take a picture and publish it. Do you have any problem with that?
No.
No? Okay. If you could remove your mask and pull it down, that'd be great. All right, go ahead, Mr. Pearson.
Thank you, Judge. Can you state your name, spelling your last name for the record, please?
My name's Jeff Ameriine, and my last name is Ameriine.
Can everyone hear him? I'm going to need you to speak up. Speak up, Jeff.
My name is Jeff Ameriine, and my last name is spelled Ameriine.
Okay, Jeff. Are you employed right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long have you been employed there?
Started fall of last year with the company that I'm with now.
Okay. You don't have to give the company, but what type of work do you do, sir?
I do construction and pipeline.
And what?
Pipeline?
Pipeline. Okay. Did you know James Whitaker?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how you knew James Whitaker.
He'd been a friend of the family for as long as I could remember. We lived in South Bloomingsville, small town. We all knew one another. I went to.
Hey, Jeff, take your time, okay? Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Okay, that's okay. Take your time.
Jim and Diane were friends of my mom and dad. They had children close to my age, so we were friends as well with Jim and Diane's kids, and I don't know if I can go any more depth than that.
Okay, that's fine. So you knew James and his wife, is that right?
Yes.
And their children?
Yes.
Okay. The girls?
Yes.
All right. Did you grow up with some of those girls?
Yes, in passing and stuff, yeah.
Okay. Friends with them, is that right?
Yes.
And did you know Kenny Amerine?
Yes, that's my dad.
Okay. And he knew the Whitakers as well, is that right?
Yes.
Now, did you know Michael Dixon?
Yes.
How did you come to know Michael Dixon?
Through Jim Whitaker.
Okay. Do you remember when you first met Michael Dixon?
I was introduced to him, I believe, down at the South Bloomsville gas station for the first time.
By Jim?
Yes, he was with him.
Okay, and just to be clear, Michael Dixon is at the counsel defense table with a black suit on, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, that's the man you knew as Michael Dixon.
Yes.
Before today, how long had you known Michael Dixon?
I hadn't known him too long. I met him, I'm going to estimate sometime February or March, possibly.
Okay. February, March of last year?
Yes.
What was the nature of your relationship? Was it friendly?
Yes.
Okay. Did you and him hang out together at all?
We talked to one another, but not like on a one-to-one level. Like I seen him at the gas station. I talked to him. I seen him at my dad's when he was helping build the pole barn. I was also there as well to help put it together. We talked, but it never went no farther than that, really.
Okay. Did you ever happen to buy a television off of the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, can you describe that television that we're talking about?
It was, I'm going to say, a 60, maybe a 55, 60-inch Samsung. Yeah.
Okay. How did you come to buy that? Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how that came about.
I purchased it off of him with cash.
How much did you pay for it?
$100.
All right. Now, did you see the TV and offer to buy it, or did Michael offer to sell it to you at some time?
I was told about the TV before I personally seen it myself.
Okay. Who were you told the TV by? Who told you about the TV? I'm sorry.
It was a conversation me and Mike had with one another.
Okay. Do you remember where that conversation took place?
I think it was at my dad's when we was helping with the garage.
Okay. Kenny Amerine's?
Yes.
Did you buy the television there?
No.
Now, you became aware at some point in time that James Whitaker was missing. Is that right?
I didn't know he was missing until I heard that he'd been murdered.
Okay. Now, when did this conversation about buying the TV take place? Before you knew that or after you knew that?
Oh, much more before I knew. It was at least a month before I found out.
How did that conversation go between you and, I'm sorry, I take it back. Did you buy the TV at the same time that you had that conversation with Mike, with the defendant about buying it? Did you actually buy it at that time?
No, I did not.
Okay. Tell us about how you bought it.
We talked about it at my father's house. I ended up going to Jim Whitaker's house and purchasing it there.
You gave him you gave the defendant cash there?
Yes.
Where was James during all this?
He was not present.
Did you know that this was James's TV that you were buying at the time?
No, sir.
Did you know where James Whitaker lived?
Yes.
Okay, so when you went to pick up the TV, you knew it was James's house, right?
Yes.
Did you also know that the defendant lived there too?
Yes, I was aware of that.
And so James wasn't present at the entire time when you took possession of the TV?
No.
Okay. What did the defendant say about the TV and who owned it?
He told me it was his TV, and I asked him multiple times, and he said it was his, and I had no other reason to believe otherwise.
Okay. At some point in time, did the police come and talk to you?
Yes.
Okay. Did they ask to look at the TV?
Yes.
Did you show it to them?
Yes.
Do you still have the TV?
No, it's in the police's possession.
Okay. You surrendered it to the police officers?
Yes.
Have you talked to the defendant about this TV since the police came in and took it?
No. Sorry.
My approach to it, Sean.
Yes, you may, go ahead.
I want you to take a look at those. Does that look familiar?
Yes.
Okay, there's 3 pages. Okay. Your Honor, states request to permission to publish State's Exhibit WW.
No objection.
No, thank you. Go ahead.
Jeff, can you take a look at the screen right here? What do you see there?
I see a television.
Okay, is that the television you purchased from the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. Do you next photograph. What is that a photograph of, Jeff?
The television, Samsung.
Okay, and the next photograph? What is that a photograph of, Jeff?
Looks like to me the model number and of the same television.
Okay, so that's the television you bought from the defendant?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Cross?
Good afternoon. Is it Mr. Amerine?
Yes.
Okay. And you may have to speak up. I've been told that I've been a little quiet today too, so just try to talk into the mic there so everyone can hear you, all right?
Okay.
Okay. Just gonna ask you a few questions. The first question I have is, did you ever tell the police that you got the TV in any other way?
No.
No? Permission to approach, Your Honor.
Yes, you may.
Mr. Amerine, I can put my mask back on if you'd like. Are you okay with this?
No, I'm fine.
Mr. Amerine, I just want you to follow along as I read this. This is a note from reporting officer Justin Baker. You see that?
Okay.
It states that on July 29th, 2020, they interviewed Kenny Amerine.
Okay.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes.
Mr. Amerine, would you please just read this highlight section right here?
The whole section?
Literally just this box right here. And then I'll ask you questions after you're fresh.
Okay.
Your Honor,
You don't have to read out loud. Just read it to yourself.
All right.
You finished reading it, sir?
Yes.
Do you recall making that statement with the police?
Oh, yes, I do. No.
So you recall telling the police that you traded Mike Dixon a small motorcycle with no engine, Bluetooth radio, and a blue dot speaker for the TV?
I gave, them were all items that he received from me. Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Why would you tell us that you paid $100 cash for it and then tell the police that?
I don't know. I was nervous when I talked to the police at that time.
Did you think you were going to get in trouble if you said something else?
Well, I was just nervous to begin with over the whole ordeal. It's something I never experienced before.
Okay. And that's fair. You've never been involved in something like this, right?
Oh, no.
Okay. And outside of the TV, did you ever purchase anything else from Mr. Dixon?
No.
Okay. And you had mentioned earlier that you didn't know anything about James's whereabouts until you'd heard from someone else that he'd been killed?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And you know nothing about how or why he was killed, correct?
I do not know.
You don't know any details and you weren't there, correct?
I wasn't there.
So literally the only thing you can talk about is the TV that you purchased?
Yeah, that's the only
Okay.
part of this I have.
And just as an aside, I presume you didn't write down the serial number of the TV before you gave it to anyone, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay. So when you saw pictures of that TV, you don't know if that's truly the TV, correct?
Well, the first picture showed the TV was cracked, so I am aware that that's the one because it got broken before it even got used.
Okay. So that's how you were able to identify
Yes.
it? All right. Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Amerine.
We redirect.
just briefly.
Yes.
Mr. Amerine, did you talk to the police about giving the motorcycle and parts versus $100 for that television? Was that to mislead the police, or did you forget?
No, I wasn't. My intent was not to mislead the police whatsoever.
Okay.
I was worked up and nervous.
Now, just to be clear, would it be correct to say that you interviewed with the police July 29th, 2020? Would that be about right?
July 29th. Sounds about right.
Okay, and you indicated earlier for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury that you purchased the TV sometime before that. Is that right?
Oh, way before.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Recross.
Just one follow-up, Your Honor. And Mr. Amerine, I'm not trying to pry, but you've said on a couple of occasions that you felt really nervous.
Yes.
What were you so nervous talking to police about?
Well, for one, when I bought the television, I never I never was under the impression that it would be this big of an involvement. I didn't picture myself being here right this moment.
Okay. So is it fair to say your nervousness was largely a result of just being a part of the situation in general?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Nothing else, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything else?
No, Judge, thank you.
All right, thank you. You may stand down. Thank you, sir.
I can leave?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you very much. All right, and I don't believe there'll be any further witnesses today.
Okay.
All right. So at this point, we're going to dismiss the jury for an evening recess. And as I've told you before, do not discuss this matter among yourselves. Do not permit anybody to discuss it with you or in your presence. It is your duty not to form or express any opinion on the case until it is finally submitted to you. And so we'll have you back at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and so we can start with new witnesses. Have a very pleasant evening. Thank you, Judge.